One cold and bitter Thursday in Munich, Germany, 8 great football stalwarts conceded victory. 8 men will never play again who met destruction there. The flowers of English football, the flowers of Manchester.
In the cold snow of Munich, they let down their lives. But they live on forever in our hearts and our minds. So come on, all supporters, and hold your head high. For Manchester United will never, never die.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to FCast, a football podcast. So we are back once again, and this time we are back with a very, very, very special episode. So all of us who are here today are very familiar with the date, 6th of February 1958. And with me, as always, I've got Orko, and I have got two very special guests. I would rather like them to reveal their identity. So I'll straight away go to both of our guests. So at the beginning, I'll like to go to Dr. Bhaskar, who happens
Hi,
to be one of the most integral members of FCAST ever since its incorporation. So a warm welcome, Bhaskar, once again.
thank you. Hello, citizens.
Yeah. So the second guest for today is Lahada. Lahada happens to be a die-hard Red Devil fan. So Lahada, it's over to you because we all want you to introduce.
Well, hello, citizens. This is Shubhadeep Laha, a die-hard Red Devil fan and a Brazil supporter also.
Oh, so that's a rare combo, but yeah, we'll take that. So I'll straight away go to our guest tonight. So as I said, 6th of February is happens to be one of the most emotionally connected or one of the most um, it's of many emotions. So I'll straight away go to you guys to tell what does this date actually mean to you.
Yeah,
Bhaskar, over
Mayur.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that all we Manu fans, and not only the Manchester United fans, but all the footizens of this world, those who are a die-hard football fan, we have been remembering these flowers of Manchester. That is the 8 players of Manchester United who died in a very unfortunate and a very disastrous plane crash in Munich on 6th February 1958 on their way home from a European Cup quarter final, which was held in Belgrade. That unfortunate crash came just when the team was going into its best and most exciting stage. And this was said by Sir Bobby Charlton, who was 20-year-old at that time and a very integral part of Manu team. I want to quote him. He said, "I remember watching our first home game in the European Cup against Anderlecht, and we beat them 10-0. It was a sensational thing in the football history." Then I want to say you in a very crisp form that after stopping to refuel at the snowy Munich airport, Manchester United's plane was due to begin the final leg of the trip. The passengers included the journalists, a huge number of supporters, the club management staff. They all boarded the plane 3 times because twice the takeoff attempts were failed. On the third occasion, there would be no turning back, but the aircraft, hampered by the build-up of the slash on the runway, failed to get off the ground in that time. And as the BEA airliner crashed to the airport's perimeter fence and into a nearby house, and the time was 3 p.m., the whole United dream and several of the Matt Busby's Babes died within it. I have just used a term known as Busby's Babes. I'll just want to ask Lahada if you please enlighten the citizens about this Busby Babes term.
Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Bhaskar, for introducing me. And so I will start with why the Busby Babes become famous. See,
Yes.
the Busby Babes was a term recruited because of the manager named Mad Busby, because he created team out of nowhere. Because if you look before 1958, Manchester United was nothing of a team, but he created a team out of youngsters who were naturally gifted. They were young, gifted, and they just brought and something a class upon that club upon the club basically. And the average of the age of the club was only of 21 and 22. Think of that. That is one of the greatest things can be achieved in those times. But
And
unfortunately, in 1958, we lost 8 players, and 8 gifted players, be it the striker, be it the defender, be it the midfielders. We lost 8 players, and after that, only Liverpool, one of the fiercest rivals of Manchester United, supported us after 1958 by just giving their 5 players as a loan, and Manchester City, another rival club, giving another few players to the club itself. So why the Busby Babes becomes famous? Because see, this name actually came from a journalist by Tom Jackson. I'm sorry, my pronunciation is not so good. So it's Tom Jackson actually. Though they won the championship like nearly for 2 seasons straight, and they were brilliant when they played in the football field. So I
and
again,
I think
I
Lada, I think that Manchester United in the 1950s, 60s, they actually pioneered the English football in Europe, I think.
yes,
And
exactly.
I want to quote that it was Real Madrid. They had an apprehension that who are actually the champions before the MU was, and they were the whole time champion of the Europe. And they had an apprehension that with players in MU like Duncan Edwards and Roger Byrne, it's quite possible that England could have won the World Cup in Sweden that year if this unfortunate incident would haven't happened.
I
Absolutely.
completely
Absolutely. So, thank you so much, guys, for giving this
Definitely
primary
some
introduction.
speculations and
Yes,
fan
Orko, you are
stories
about to say something.
regarding. Yeah, there is definitely some speculation and fan stories along with some conspiracy theories regarding this. But from a footballing point of view, I want to ask you both Ahada and Bhaskar, that as Manchester United fans, you became Manchester United fans uh, at a tender age, both of you. And then when you got to know of such an event like that of Munich air tragedy, and then how did you get to know of these and how did it impact as a Manchester United supporter?
so I
Uh,
will just, start with it. Sorry, Bhaskar, you want to say something?
of course. No, no, yeah, of course. You should start, Lada.
Okay, so what I want to say is, see, I became a supporter from 1996 for the Manchester United. Following many months after following the club, I like see in those 1996 there was hardly any computer connection. I think after year 2000 I came to know actually. Very frankly, after year 2000,
Even TV
when
telecast
I
was a big thing back then.
yes, exactly. So
Computer is of the
after year
future.
2000, why? Because after year 2000 we got access to computer classes. So while sitting in a computer class, I was typing some good football teams. I was typing in computer in my practical classes, good football teams, etc., etc. So after typing, I
Those are
came to
something
know.
else.
I'm sorry.
Nah, continue.
So after typing, I came to know two of the biggest clubs were Liverpool and Manchester United. So why? So I began to why, and then the passion just began. Came to me for Manchester United, because if you look at the history of Manchester United, we were actually a mid-table club before everything was happened. But after everything, when Bobby Charlton came at the time, he was the only remaining player from the year disaster, and he made the team around himself. And 10 years later we won the European Cup in 1968. That was one of the remarkable things ever happened to any other club. And within the 10 years he broke every record and any human being can in a football field. So that is how I came to support the Manchester United. So I hand over to Vasco now.
Absolutely. But before going on to Bhaskar, I just want to tell you my story. Actually, my uncle happened to be a journalist. He used to be a journalist in one of the renowned Bengali newspapers. So I actually came to know right from the beginning when I started supporting in 1999. Actually, he told me the story because he was fully aware about that fact. So, Orko, in that way, I knew from the very beginning that this story somehow fascinated me because as a youngster, you are always intrigued by underdog stories. So, with having said that, I'll straight away go to Bhaskar. I just want to know his story about when he came to know.
Yeah, see, actually, my interest in football started from 1998 after watching the World Cup, and after that, I came to actually know the importance of club football. And whenever we mention about club football, obviously, Manu is the one of the greatest name, and you all know that since I was integrally associated with the cultural field, theater, and all, so I had a very passion for music. So once I listened to that Spinners band song, that the Flowers of Manchester, and when that time that Lahada told that the first time we were surfing the computers, and so I came to know that, and that Spinners song, that Flowers of Manchester, this term actually had a lot of that haunted me. So then I searched for that incident, and slow by slow, after first I ever read about Manchester was this tragic incident, and then I started searching their history. What I actually admire about this club is always they have given importance to the youth. That Lahada told that always it was the 19 to 21 years of the footballers who used to dominate the Europe that time. So always this youth thing, that this the passion and the adrenaline rush, and the always and obviously the Manu supporters, their excitement. I get that feeling of that Kolkata Maidan, that East Bengal Mohan Bagan adrenaline gush in that on the supporters of Manu and the club. So like it was like a dream journey for me. Like since I started watching the English Premier League, so obviously like I had an emotional connection with this club. Like,
Absolutely.
So
So,
one of
Just
the
to
things that
and,
Bhaskar
and, and,
mentions
and
here.
obviously that the term the Red Devils, I actually forgot to mention, that haunted me a lot. That Red Devils, who is this Red Devil? Then slowly I started reading the history of the club, and I started watching English
So you
Premier
fall in love with whatever scares you.
League. Of course.
Very nice. But what Bhaskar says is a very important thing, that we always had this feeling in mind that Manchester, Liverpool, and we would connect our Maidan clubs to
Yes,
their,
yes,
I mean, whichever club is similar, and we would have debates and arguments regarding that. The
exactly.
Manchester is more of East
Or
Bengal, whereas Liverpool is more of Mohun Bagan and
Mohan Bagan.
so on. Yeah, that's a very nostalgic thing brought about. And
so
we shall,
just to quickly tell all of our listeners, the eight Manchester United players who actually had that unfortunate demise that evening were Geoff Bent, Roger Byron, Eddie Coleman, Duncan Edwards, Mark Jones, David Pegg, Tommy Taylor, and Billy Whelan. So these were the eight gentlemen who actually um, passed away that due to that unfortunate incident. So yeah, Orko, you are about to say something.
And also I want to
yeah,
mention the one of the stalwarts in the field of sports journalism also, like Alf Clark, Don Davis, George Follows, Tom Jackson. They were also the victim of this air crash.
Absolutely.
exactly what I wanted to know from both of you, Lahada and Bhaskar, again, that these were promising players, as you mentioned, like 20, 21 years of age. They had won two consecutive English League Cups, and they were on the verge of being the third team to win the English League. English League. Premier League. Back in those days, it was English League. So they were on the verge of winning it three times. They would have been the third team doing so, but somehow I mean, this winning run, this hot streak of form, this came to an end tragically. So, how do you believe that if they had been there, would the, the face of football, the history of football, been different in any way?
I think Lahada could say better, but I just want to end it in 2 3 lines. That the 1966, in the year in which England won the football World Cup, it was a very controversial. There is a lot of controversy about the final match and all. But I think that if this team, the players who have passed away, if they would have been in the England team, I think they would have a like glorifying victory, and I think England would have been free from a controversial World Cup win. I think, and it would be have been a a glorious victory in the crown of England.
But that is really a nice opinion. I never heard such a bold opinion in my life. So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
of course. Welcome.
Laha, a quick comment.
See, exactly I want to say, since it didn't happen, how will I say, right? It's nothing can be predicted what happens and what not happen. Even Real Madrid bought nearly 8 players to the club in in the year 2003, 4, 5 of of the basically diamond class footballers, but they did not want anything. So Busby Babes might have won, might not have won, but since they were not there, so that's how we can remember the Busby Babes, by saying that they were interesting players who could have fulfilled fulfilled many of the dreams of the Manchester United. That's what I can say.
Orko, if I
The
historically say,
beauty of just
if I
sum it
hist-
up, the beauty of
uh,
Busby Babes lies in what ifs.
historically, if I say,
Exactly.
or if I want to say historically, in 1956, if we see Manchester United, they went through the season unbeaten at home, and they won
Yes,
the
and,
league
yes,
championship. Won the championship by 11 points. This
and
at a
and
time when the and this at a time when the English Premier League system was based on a 2 points for win. Okay, and a year
and
later, in 1957, they were crowned champions again by 8 points, and they scored 103 goals in a whole tournament. So you can
and
there was a
I
huge.
will just add a small point to it. They were in the semi-finals of the European Cup.
Yes.
Think about that. They were in semi-finals. From that disaster, 1950 thing disaster, they become a champion of that cup after exactly 10 years. And I think there's a clip of Sir Bobby Charlton, of saying he's thankful. He's really thankful what was created by Matt Busby. That was dream of Matt Busby, of the dream of giving young players a chance. That was a dream of Matt Busby, and that
Absolutely.
dream has always been there in Manchester United, giving young players a chance. And at this, I
Of
think
course.
the present structure by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer proves it, giving young players a chance.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So having said that, I want to thank both of you for your time, finding out time and joining us in our podcast. I think Orko, you want to sum it up?
Yeah, definitely. It was nice talking to both of you and knowing your perspective regarding this tragedy.
I want to end this podcast with the few lines of the Spinners Band, which they actually dedicated to this unfortunate incident. If you, with your permission, can I say
Sure,
one of
sure.
the
Please go on.
one of the favorite lines of mine?
Sure, please end it on a high.
Yeah. Oh, England's finest football team. Its record truly great. Its proud successes mocked by a cruel turn of fate. 8 men will never play again who met destruction there. The flowers of English football, the flowers of Manchester.
So thank you so much. On this note, we are ending today's podcast. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank
Good
you.
night, guys.
Bye bye.
One cold and bitter Thursday in Munich, Germany, 8 great football stalwarts conceded victory. 8 men will never play again who met destruction there. The flowers of English football, the flowers of Manchester. Matt Busby's boys were flying, returning from Belgrade. This great united family, all masters of their trade. The pilot of the aircraft, the skipper, captain, thane. 3 times they tried to take off and twice turned back again. The 3rd time down the runway, disaster followed close. There was slush upon that runway and the aircraft never rose. It ploughed into the marshy ground, it broke, it overturned, and 8 of the team were killed when the blazing wreckage burned. Roger Byrne and Tommy Taylor, who were capped for England's side, and Ireland's Billy Whelan and England's Jeff Bent died. Mark Jones and Eddie Coleman and David Pegg also. They all lost their lives as it ploughed on through the snow. Big Duncan he went to with an injury to his brain, and Ireland's brave Jack Blanchflower will never play again. The great Matt Busby lay there, the father of this team. 3 long months passed by before he saw his team again. The trainer, coach and secretary and a member of the crew. Also 8 sporting journalists who with United flew. And one of them was Big Swifty, who we will not forget, the finest English keeper that ever graced a net. Oh, England's finest football team, its record truly great. Its proud success is mocked by a cruel turn of fate. 8 men will never play again who met destruction there. The flowers of English football, 'n' the flowers of Manchester.